Welcome, travelers, to my realm of nightmares. Allow me to be your personal assistant. Come in, take a seat, get comfortable. For when you step into my realm, there's no stepping out.
Hello, travelers. PA Nightmares here. I've noticed that over 30% of my viewers are not subscribed to the channel. So, if you're a new or a returning viewer and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you like what I do, liking the video and commenting as well, as it really helps push this video into the algorithm and it really does help the channel grow. Well, I've taken enough of your time. On to the main event.
Honey, can you get the Christmas decorations from the attic? Isabel's mother yelled from the living room. Yeah, Mom, no problem. Isabel excitedly ran down the hallway sporting her most festive Christmas sweater. She was in the holiday spirit and ready to decorate the tree. The bright green sweater really brought out her fair skin and long curly red hair. She knew green was her color. Christmas had always been Isabel's favorite time of the year. She loved the feeling of togetherness with her family, and honestly, the thought of presents under the tree didn't hurt much either. It was the one time of year that her busy parents slowed down and actually paid attention to her. She knew they worked hard to support her love of singing and piano. Let's face it, lessons weren't cheap. But it was always nice to gather around the tree and laugh and just be a family for once. Although she loved Christmas Day, the real treat was the holiday talent show. As a talented singer and pianist, she'd entered the show for the last 5 years. In Isabel's mind, the talent show was more than just a performance for a bunch of strangers. For her, it meant that she had her parents' attention for as long as her song lasted. There were no disruptions, no work fires to put out, just her, performing. For them. Besides her love for performing, that was the real reason she entered the show every year. Christmas wouldn't be the same without it. The show was only 5 days away, and Isabel did not have anything lined up just yet. She figured she'd do a classic such as Silver Bells or the Christmas song. She knew both by heart, so it wouldn't take much effort. However, she did want to start practicing after the decorating festivities were finished. Isabel pulled the string for the attic stairs. The creaking sound always gave her the creeps, but she proceeded to pull down the steep wooden stairs and headed up the attic. There she spotted the huge 5 plastic bins with the words "Christmas decorations" obnoxiously written across each one. One by one, Isabel started to bring down the bins. After she brought down the second bin, she realized there was a tiny wooden box nestled between 2 of the containers. This one must have gotten missed last year, she thought to herself. As she went to toss the wooden box into one of the bins, she had this indescribable urge to look inside. It was odd. Of all the decorations, she was sure she would have remembered this one, especially since it was so beautifully crafted and quite antique looking. The box itself seemed light, so she figured it was empty, but opened it anyway. Upon opening the box, she noticed the paper folded into a small square. It looked ancient and had collected a lot of dust. As Isabel carefully opened the note, she began to cough from all the dust, but to her surprise, it wasn't a note at all. Instead, what she found was the most beautifully conducted Christmas carol she'd ever read. She hummed along as she read the sheet music note by enchanting note. With each line she hummed, she felt as though she was falling deeper into a trance-like state, until suddenly she was interrupted by her mother's voice, bringing her back. "Isabel, where are the rest of the boxes? You've been up there for like an hour." No way, Isabel thought. There's no way she could have possibly been up there for an hour. Surely her mother was exaggerating. "Coming!" Isabel yelled from the attic. As she climbed down the steep attic stairs, her mother waited at the bottom to grab the rest of the large containers, filled with Christmas cheer and distant holiday memories. "My goodness, I thought you hit your head or something up there. I was just about to come up and check on you. What took you so long, honey?" Isabel's mother asked with a concerned look upon her face. "Oh, nothing. I must have gotten lost down memory lane or something. I honestly don't even Her voice trailed off, and she wrinkled her brow in confusion. "Honey?" Isabel's mother looked at her with a puzzled expression. Isabel quickly shrugged it off, letting her mother know it was nothing, and handed her the rest of the decor. "Let's get decorating!" Isabel exclaimed. After a long day of decorating, Isabel and her mother were ready to curl up by the fire with their hot cocoa, cozy blankets, and turn on It's a Wonderful Life. This had been their tradition for as long as she could remember. They started to get cozy, but Isabel's mother asked what song she had chosen for the Christmas show this year, since she had not heard her practicing at all. Just as she asked, Isabel remembered what she was doing right before her mother had broken her from her trance. She propped up and threw the blankets to the floor. "I completely forgot about the song!" "What song, darling?" The box! The box, where is it? Where's the box?" Isabel became frantic, throwing pillows in the air and searching high and low. "Sweetie, you're freaking me out," Isabel's mother began. But before she could finish her thought, Isabel squealed with excitement. "I found it!" "Found what?" Isabel kissed her mother on the cheek with the box in tow and ran into her bedroom to practice for the show. "Teenagers," her mother said with a smile. Isabel once again unfolded the sheet music and began to play the beautifully crafted tune for hours on end. She felt as though she could not stop playing even if she wanted to. By 11 p.m., Isabel's father finally arrived home after a long day at the office. He heard what sounded like the most alluring song he had ever heard coming from his daughter's room. As he listened behind her closed door, he started to tear up. As much as it pained him to do so, he had to ask her to stop playing since it was almost midnight. "Just one more time, I promise. Then I'll be done for the night," Isabel said, focusing solely on the music in front of her. "Okay, just once more, then it's time for bed," her father agreed. "All right, Dad, I promise. Love you. Night." Isabel did not keep her promise. It was as though a force of some kind held a grip on her so tightly she lost all sight of who she was and what she was doing. She was unable to peel her eyes away from the sheet music, and her fingers had a mind of their own. She ferociously slammed on the piano keys and sang perfectly in tune with this lost Christmas carol. Isabel fell into the same indescribable trance she had gone into when she first came upon the song. She felt as though she was in a dream. She could hear herself singing, but she felt miles away. She could see a girl playing the piano in her room. She tried to scream to break out of this dreamlike state, but nothing. It was as if she was having an outer-body experience. She could see everything happening before her. It was like watching herself in a movie. Isabel felt stuck, scared, and confused, but what she would witness next would forever change life as she knew it. "Isabel, do you have any idea what time it is? I thought your father told you one more time before bed. The neighbors are going to call the cops if you don't—" Isabel's mother was absolutely furious by the disrespect her daughter was showing. Just as she went to finish her sentence, her mother's eyes widened with fear, and her once tan complexion turned ghostly white. She tried to scream to no avail. Isabel watched as that thing sitting at her piano turned to face her panicked mother. You're not Isabel." The words managed to leave her mother's mouth in barely a whisper. An old decrepit hand reached out to Isabel's mother while keeping the other on the piano keys. This thing, whatever it was, resembled Isabel, but it could not be. Her features were old and frail, the pink glow from her cheeks were absent, and her vibrant red hair was dull and lifeless. Isabel knew this was just a sad version of herself. This wasn't her. She was standing watching as the events unfolded before her eyes. There was nothing that could distract the creature sitting in Isabel's place. Nothing could break its concentration from the melodic tune coming from the piano. Just as Isabel thought all was lost, she realized the song was what was keeping her in this trance. This was the reason she could not escape this lucid dreamlike state, and she needed to distract this creature. As Isabel's mother stood frozen in her tracks, a purple mist formed around her and the creature. The mist was so thick, the only thing Isabel could make out were screams of despair and that dreadful fucking song. The song played over and over in her mind, making it hard for her to concentrate on the only thing that actually mattered, saving her mother. The screams woke up Isabel's father, who burst into the room with his hunting knife and cell phone in hand. What he encountered that night was nothing he could have ever imagined. His wife lay dead as a doornail on the blood-soaked carpet. Isabel, his once precious little girl, taken over by this creature. He realized then that the knife would not help, as he could not even get close to this thing. He fumbled with his cell phone and managed to dial 911. At that moment, the creature turned to him and the same purple mist took over, one hand still playing, her mouth still singing the tune. The 911 operator on the other line spoke, but it was too late. This time, the mist wasn't as thick, and Isabel could see exactly what that thing was doing to her father. The song, the melody was piercing through him until his mind could no longer take it. Blood poured out of his ears, eyes, nose, and mouth. He wrapped his hands aggressively around his neck, trying to stop the bleeding, trying to speak, yell, anything. To no avail. Within moments, his body fell to the floor. Just as Isabel thought all was lost, the doorbell rang, distracting the creature for the first time since it began its reign of terror. The music, however, it continued to play. As the police stormed up the stairwell and into one of the most horrific scenes that they had ever witnessed, the creature looked directly into Isabel's eyes and smirked. The purple mist once again formed around the singing creature and the men and women in uniform. Isabel watched this all from a distance. She screamed with all she had. Still, silence. She knew then that she was never getting out at this point. She had completely given up. And honestly, she didn't even want to go back. The Christmas Carol creature took the three things she cared about most in this world: her mother, father, and music. Hello, my beautiful creepy people. I hope we're all having a dreadfully delightful evening. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Holiday Horror. I wrote this one especially for you. I would like to take this time to say how truly grateful I am for each and every single one of you. I wish you and yours a very happy holiday season, and here's to 2022. I really hope you're enjoying my content, and if you like what you heard, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, please be sure to share, like, and comment. It means so much to me and it helps my channel grow. Did you know I have a Patreon? Well, I do. I'd like to give a huge shout out to my Knights of the Living Dread and Army of the Dread: Derek Weber, PA Nightmares, Nathaniel J. Nelson, and Anthony Anderson. Your overwhelming support means so much to me, and I truly appreciate you. Well, have a dreadful evening, my lovelies, and stay spooky.
I would like to thank tonight's author or authors for allowing me to use their works. If you enjoyed this, the authors' links will be in the description below. Please check them out and let them know PA sent you. Also, if you like to walk around representing my realm and gaining new travelers, the links to my merch store, my website, and all my other social medias will be in the description below. As always, I'd like to say a special thank you to all my lovely Patreons. All of their names will appear on screen. I'll make sure to put all their links in the description below so you guys can check them out as well if you'd like.
But as always, travelers, once you step into my realm, there's no stepping out.